discussing about Coiborex versus Bolivia case. In the last two videos, we looked at the factual circumstances of this case and the claims made by Coiborex against Bolivia and the preliminary issues like applicable law, question of investment and all of that. So in this video, we will look at Coiborex argument with regard to violation of a substantive standard, that is expropriation, and how does it say that Bolivia has expropriated its investment. Particularly, Coiborex says that revocation decree and the subsequent annulment of the concession amounts to expropriation. But Bolivia said that revocation decree and the subsequent annulment were all taken pursuant to its police powers and therefore cannot amount to expropriation. So the tribunal had to first decide whether this is something that flows from the police powers of the state. The measures taken by Bolivia, does it flow from the police powers of the state? So to that extent, Bolivia made certain allegations of how the claimants have violated the local laws. For instance, if we take one instance, Bolivia was saying that the power of attorney was given by RICSA to Moscoso, and that was not registered, and therefore Moscoso cannot act on behalf of RICSA, the company, right? So then claimants were saying that even if there was failure of registration of power of attorney deed, the domestic law clearly states that a fine will be levied, but it does not automatically relate to nullifying the deed itself. So then there were many other instances where Bolivia said this particular provision of the law was violated, this particular provision of the law was violated, mining code, code of commerce and all of that. And in most cases, what Coiborex was able to show was there was responsibility that was levied on the part of the officials with respect to those provisions, not on the part of the applicant. So, Coiborex's argument was Bolivia is using the failure on the part of its own administrative officials and attributing them to the claimant and saying that there was illegality to the granting of concession itself. And that Coiborex was saying that Bolivia cannot do so. I mean, as per the law, there were certain duties that were levied on the officials itself. The official should have taken a step, official should have maintained a register, official should have acted on this. So that is something that cannot be levied on the part of the claimant. And again, there were certain breaches of Bolivian law with regard to exceeding the time limit and all of that. So that also the tribunal looked at the general administrative law of Bolivia, wherein it had stated that the general administrative law of Bolivia states that if there were certain discrepancies or certain actions which could be remedied in the future, then that does not automatically nullify the entire transaction itself. So basically, tribunal concluded that by looking at Bolivia's own law, Bolivia's own administrative law, that there was a flexible approach. The law adopts a flexible approach and it gives sort of a scope for correcting the errors. So that is permitted within the Bolivian law itself. And even though with regard to other breaches, Bolivia saying that Coiborex had violated this and that, so those breaches are something that does not amount to being that does not amount to giving rise to a consequence that the entire concession will be nullified. At most, they would be considered to be a voidable transaction, and for something to be a voidable transaction, then the competent authority has to declare that as void, right? So what we can see is there was no such declaration of voiding the granting of concession itself. So then the tribunal looked at the two grounds mentioned in the revocation decree. So one is with regard to systemic refusal to provide information to the tax and custom authorities, and the second ground that is mentioned in the revocation decree stated that there was some sort of a discrepancy between illicit declared and actually transported. So in whatever the grounds, Coiborex argued that in either of these grounds, if there was some sort of an information that was needed by IRS or custom authorities, internal revenue services or custom authorities, there was no such request was made to Queborex. Without such a request, how can Queborex furnish those informations? And even with regard to all the information that was required by the Bolivian authorities, this was the argument that Queborex were taking, that the Bolivian officials were not in a position to show any record that they had requested certain documents or certain information from Queborex. So Queborex argument was accepted by the tribunal with regard to the tax authorities, stating that no information was asked from Queborex with regard to certain transactions. So tribunal was accepted this argument of Queborex. No information was asked by the tax authorities. And secondly, the law that abrogated Ley Walda had granted the executive power to nullify the concession, but that was not a blanket authorization. If we look at Law 2564, it clearly says that there has to be an audit conducted, and pursuant to that audit, the consequence can be nullifying the concession in accordance with the prevailing law and regulations. This is exactly the phrase that is used in that law itself, in Law 2564. So it's not a blanket authorization. So then audit takes a center stage with regard to the question of whether the concession has to be nullified or not. If we look at the arguments of Queborex stated that audit was conducted, but only NMM's concession was revoked. In fact, there was one other domestic company, Copla, that had lost its environmental license, but still its concession was not revoked. So Queborex were making an argument here that only its concession was revoked. And Queborex was also stating that the revocation decree itself was subsequently revoked by another decree, and that happened. I mean, as per the facts of the case, we can see that post the revocation decree, there was an inter-ministerial meeting. After the inter-ministerial meeting, where they had noted that the revocation decree does not have any sufficient legal basis, and that the revocation decree was passed because of the social and political pressure that is mentioned in the ministerial memo itself. And then there was one other decree that was passed which revoked the revocation decree because of legal defects. So then the Queborex was arguing that even the Bolivian's own decree itself accepts that there were some legal defects with regard to the revocation decree, and then Queborex was arguing that revocation decree is something that amounts to an expropriation. So then the tribunal looked at all these facts, and then the tribunal also looked at the audit report and how the audit was conducted and what were the findings of those audit. Then the tribunal stated that, so the audit again, there were many discrepancies or issues with regard to certain factors like industrial safety, environment, labor and all of that. But even for these breaches that were found in the audit, none of them resulted legally for nullifying the concession. So the tribunal stated that even if these violations were there, Bolivia was not able to point out to specific provision of a law or regulation, domestic law or regulation, where the executive was granted with the power to nullify the concession itself. So all of these breaches were minor breaches. So the tribunal concluded that revoking the concession was not done with due process, and therefore it cannot be stated that the revocation decree was passed following the state's police power. So first it rejected that the measures did not come from the exercise of police power because it did not follow the basic due process. I mean, the tribunal only relied on Bolivia's own laws to come at this conclusion, right? And secondly, if it does not flow from police powers, then does it amount to indirect expropriation? When the tribunal wanted to look into the question of whether it amounts to indirect expropriation, Bolivia raised an objection. Bolivia stated that other than the initial claim, we can see that Cui Borax had not used the term indirect expropriation anywhere, either in its reply or in the hearing, and therefore the tribunal should not examine the question of whether this amounts to indirect expropriation. That is where the tribunal stated that even if Cui Borax has not been mentioning about indirect expropriation, at the same time, it has also not withdrawn the claim of indirect expropriation. Therefore, the tribunal will look at this question whether the revocation decree is an expropriatory one or not. So then, tribunal went ahead with the examination of indirect expropriation, and it looked at the discriminatory behavior of Bolivia, where only NMM's concession was expropriated, and even after the audit and even after environmental license was lost by COPLA, its concession was still not revoked. There were two other Bolivian companies who were also found to be in breach of certain Bolivian law, but their concessions were not revoked. And anyway, since NMM's only operation was with regard to this particular concession, it did not carry on any other operation. So the tribunal concluded that it's since with the revocation of the concession, NMM's investment has been expropriated. So this is something, this is an issue that was decided in favor of the claimant. The tribunal stated that it did not follow due process to enact the revocation decree, and also that Bolivia's behavior was discriminatory at the time of nullifying the concession. And since the breaches that were identified, and looking at law 2564, which clearly said that nullifying the concession can only happen provided if it is mentioned somewhere in Bolivian law and regulation, as in accordance with the Bolivian law, and all the breaches that Bolivia said that Cui Borax had committed, that did not warrant nullifying the concession itself as per its own law. So anyway, the tribunal ruled in favor of the claimants for this particular issue. We'll also look at the next argument with regard to fair and equitable treatment in the next video. Thank you.